in New York announced that they previously reached an agreement with the parent company of the National Enquirer not to prosecute any of its people. Remember, that company, AMI, paid for the story of Karen McDougal, who said she had an affair with Donald Trump before he was president. It paid $150 grand to own the story and never report it. Catch and kill. But here's the important part and the reason for the non-prosecution agreement. AMI now admits it made that payment in concert with a candidate's presidential campaign and in order to ensure that the women did not publicize damaging allegations about the candidate before the 2016 presidential election. AMI further admitted that its principal purpose in making the payment was to suppress the women's story so as to prevent it from influencing the election. So Michael Cohen implicates, and the publishers of the National Enquirer implicate. John Roberts is live at the White House.
And on the surface, Shep, that AMI confession would appear to be more aimed at buttressing the case against Michael Cohen than anything related to President Trump. But you never know, and maybe it's something a prosecutor could hold in their back pocket for the future after the president has left office. No reaction from the president yet on the sentencing of Michael Cohen. He's had plenty of opportunity to do it. He just held an Opportunity Zone event in the Roosevelt room. He was asked about it, but there was no reaction. But certainly he let his thoughts be known, at least about the campaign finance violation, in an interview with Reuters yesterday. The president saying, quote, "Number one, it wasn't a campaign contribution. If it were, it's only civil. And even if it's only civil, there was no violation based on what we did." And to add a fourth little tranche to it, Michael Cohen is a lawyer. He's supposed to know what to do. And that's what you rely on people for. That's what you pay lawyers for. The president no longer paying Michael Cohen, but he is paying Rudy Giuliani, and I talked to him in the last 90 minutes. He told me the sentencing hearing illuminates why the president thinks this is a witch hunt. He says Cohen told the judge he did this all out of blind loyalty to the president, but yet he surreptitiously recorded the president, never told him that he recorded the conversation, and then leaked the tape to the media. That act, Rudy says, stands in sharp contrast to any claim that Cohen was blindly loyal to the president. Giuliani also faulted the Office of Special Counsel for not pointing out Cohen's contradictions. Giuliani also played down any implication that the president is guilty of a campaign finance violation, saying the payments to settle are not illegal because they were paid out of the president's own pocket and not with campaign money. They were private transactions. South Carolina Senator Lindsey Graham today played down the fallout of all this to the president. Listen here.
I don't know if it means a whole lot for the president. It means a lot in Michael Cohen's life. Anytime a former lawyer of yours goes to jail is probably not a good day, but I've yet to see any evidence coming from Mr. Cohen of collusion, and that's what started the Mueller investigation to begin with.
But Cohen's former counsel, Lanny Davis, with a suggestion this afternoon that Cohen has got a lot more to say. In a statement, Davis saying, quote, "Michael Cohen, former attorney to Donald Trump, continues to tell the truth about Donald Trump's misconduct over the years at the appropriate time. After Mr. Mueller completes his investigation and issues his final report, I look forward to assisting Michael to state publicly all he knows about Mr. Trump, and that includes any appropriate congressional committee interested in the search for the truth and the difference between facts and lies. Mr. Trump's repeated lies cannot contradict stubborn facts." Shep?
John Roberts reporting live from the White House. Let's take it to the judge now. Fox News senior judicial analyst, Judge Andrew Napolitano. Two separate things. First, Michael Cohen, what have we learned?
We've learned that federal prosecutors here in New York City, not Bob Mueller and his team in Washington, D.C., career prosecutors here in New York City, have evidence that the President of the United States committed a felony by ordering and paying Michael Cohen to break the law. How do we know that? They told that to the federal judge. Under the rules, they can't tell that to a federal judge unless they actually have that hardcore evidence. Under the rules, they can't tell that to a federal judge unless they intend to do something with that evidence. The U.S. attorney in Manhattan, a Donald Trump appointee, taking a page from Jeff Sessions' book, recused himself, leaving this case in the hands of the full-time career professional prosecutors. They are the ones who prosecuted Michael Cohen. They are the ones who told the federal judge that Donald Trump orchestrated these unlawful payments. They are the ones who made the agreement with AMI, the parent company of the National Enquirer, which ties a bow on all of this, which connects the dots between the payments to the two women who alleged to claim they had intimate relationships with the president. And the line running through all that is the president himself.
Prosecutors have told us through these filings that they have evidence that the president committed a felony.
The felony is paying Michael Cohen to commit a felony. It's pretty basic. Somebody hires you, A hires B to shoot someone. A is as liable as if he had pulled the trigger. You pay someone to commit a crime, they commit the crime, you are liable, criminally liable, for their commission of that crime as well as their being liable. That's what the prosecutors told the federal judge.
They've not announced whether there was criminal intent on the president's part, which would be required for prosecution.
Yes. We don't know what they know. It's interesting, Shep. They have announced that they have this evidence. They've announced the existence of the evidence. They haven't revealed the substance of it. Michael Cohen is not somebody the feds are going to put on the witness stand. So when he gives them this kind of evidence, they must corroborate it through other people or through documents or through wires or through emails or the way lawyers corroborate information that comes out of the mouth of someone. So we don't know if they have evidence of intent. But under the law, a person is presumed to intend the natural and probable consequences of their behavior. You pay your lawyer to commit a crime, you are presumed to intend for him to commit it.
So you're saying that this evidence says the president has committed a felony?
Yes. I'm saying that the prosecutors have said this to the federal judge. This was the most damning and novel information that came out last Friday, and it was all packaged today at Michael Cohen's sentencing, when at the end of it, the people who prosecuted him, Bob Kazumi, who was the number 2 person in that office, the career guy, announced the settlement with AMI.
That's an old settlement.
That is an old settlement, but we didn't know about it until today. That is the last piece of the puzzle in all of this. The admission by AMI that the whole purpose for doing this was to influence the outcome of the election. That makes it a campaign expenditure, the failure to report which is a felony.
What now?
It's in the hands of 2 prosecutors' offices that don't always agree. Bob Mueller's office, the independent counsel in D.C., who thought that Michael Cohen should skate with no jail time or next to no jail time.
Well, it's 2 different things.
Correct. And Bob Kazumi, the number 2 person in the federal prosecutor's office here in New York City, who's the one who has this evidence. The other interesting thing here that came out last Friday is the president's being investigated by prosecutors other than Bob Mueller? Yes. Who are they? Federal prosecutors here in New York City. What do they have? They have all the president's records because they raided Michael Cohen. It's the team that raided Michael Cohen's office last April.
If you're the president's lawyers right now, how are you taking this?
You are taking it with great gravity. The president says he's been exonerated. I've got to believe he's saying that for political purposes. No rational person could construe this as an exoneration.
It's the opposite
unless
of that,
they're escaping reality. He is in the crosshairs now of 2 prosecutors, federal prosecutor's office in his own Department of Justice. Bob Mueller in Washington, D.C., and the federal prosecutors in the Southern District of New York here in Manhattan.
And we haven't even heard any Russia stuff.
Well, the Russia stuff did come out in some of the things that Michael Cohen said. The president denied that he had any communication with Russians during the campaign. Michael Cohen told the prosecutors here in New York, and they told the federal judge, that in fact Michael Cohen and the president were negotiating, the president through Michael Cohen, with Vladimir Putin during January to June of 2016. That's the Republican primary season, at the end of which he is the presumptive nominee. Is that a crime, that negotiation? No, but it's profoundly contrary to the president's public representations, and it puts the president in the vicinity of communicating with a foreign power in order to obtain something of value, permission to build a hotel.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome, Shep.
How would you like it if your colleagues got together and had a secret vote about whether you should keep your job? Essentially, that's what's happening right now in Great Britain as lawmakers decide whether to keep or remove the Prime Minister, Theresa May. It's a tradition we don't have here in America, complete with a lot of suspense. We'll take you to London for a look at how it's all unfolding and how it could affect the whole world.
Well, I'd give you a little advice. Don't put work in front of family. Family's the most important thing. I learned that the hard way.
You lived so long, you probably lost your filter.
I never realized I ever had one.
The Mule. Rated R.
I got you all presents and got cash back using Ebates.
I don't believe it.
Do you believe this?
Bet it's fake.
A lot of phonies out there.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Stand down, Elf.
Shop your favorite stores. Get cash back. Ebates. Join today for a $10 bonus.